There's so many good takeaways from today's discussion, both technical and practical. Sara, I'll start with you and go this way. What should a viewer of this webcast walk away with?
I would say when you're looking at your cloud transactions, it's not too soon to start looking at, the all relevant factors tests. Even though these aren't regulations that you need to comply with now, we've pointed out that, you can get some initial ideas on how to characterize things. There could possibly be some changes to your agreements that you could do if you don't like the particular outcome that you've got, and then it will have you well informed as these regulations near finalization as to whether or not you're going to need to make any changes in how you're currently accounting for these transactions.
I think two things. One, companies that are transacting in copyrighted article transfers, digital content transfers, they should start thinking about the potential impact of the modified source rule on their source of income, both from an inbound and outbound standpoint, and potentially develop ways to address if there's any adverse implications. And also for taxpayers to think about making comments to the IRS and Treasury about how to develop a set of rational and workable rules around the sourcing cloud transaction income, because of how complicated business operations and transactions are. Unless we make the rules rational and sensible, it could be very difficult for taxpayers to figure out what is the source of their service income and what is the source of their service payment. And I would say one important comment to make might be that in case you are sourcing your service income and there are service providers helping you, then in general, their activities really shouldn't affect how you source your service income, because their activities generate their own service income, your activities generate your own, and there really needs to be limit as to whose activities that we should be looking to. And that's based on existing principles.
Including agency principles.
Yes.
Yes, and I'd say, if you're making these types of payments, then you need to consider whether or not you need to collect documentation from your vendors, W-8s, W-9s. Consider whether or not you may have withholding obligations and depositing obligations, and then reporting obligations at the end of the year, 1099s, 1042s, 1042s.
Yeah, I would say the first place is probably not to boil the ocean and identify the big transactions, the big payments. Externally, either to vendors or to customers, received from customers, and internally. And this is a place where I think a number of companies that are not in the tech space are going to have to look hard and consider really what is the impact with respect to the ongoing digital developments in their own ecosystem.
And I'll close us out with the theme that the world is digital. So for the folks watching this webcast, both from a recipient payment standpoint as well as a payor of payments, take the time to really understand all the pieces of your business and get a sense for where the digital elements are. You're not going to boil the ocean today, but becoming as literate as you can be on the way the underlying business process works is going to arm you to be nimble, not just with respect to applying these regs, but all the other knock-on consequences.